we are, thankful for you for participating in this show and listening to us. Today, we are honored to be joined by Ela Chaimi, wife of Tal Chaimi, a member of Kibbutz Nir Yitzchak Emergency Squad who was killed and kidnapped on October 7th. Thank you, Ella, for being with us. Obviously, Chaimi means in Hebrew, my life, Chaim Sheli, which is maybe all about Tal before we even start to talk. But it's important to know that Tal was very brave. He left his family in the early hours of this horrific morning and got out to protect his fellow kibbutzniks. Kibbutz Nir Yitzchak, you can Google that. It's right on the border with Gaza. Tal was on the phone with Ella, I think one time this morning, that morning, maybe an hour or a little bit more into the events. And afterwards, Ella did not hear anything from Tal. And Ella was in the early weeks of her third pregnancy. 4 kids, but third pregnancy. She's a magic woman. She was in that stage on October 7th, and Tal was aware that he has a baby, a 4th baby on the way. And then Ella, you had your beautiful baby Lotan on May 2024, obviously without Tal. So we all in Israel were following your pregnancy, and I thank you so much for joining us today in this important podcast.
Hi, thank you for joining us.
So let's begin with a little bit of news, family news, if I may. You have just...
first I want to apologize because now in my house it's the rush hour, and I hope I will stay alone until the end of this interview, but it may be some interruptions, and I hope not.
We welcome any kid to join the conversation. Will be
any annoying kid, yeah.
Lively addition. I was just going to say that you just returned this week, I think, to live in Kibbutz Nir Yitzchak with your 4 kids. And maybe you can start by telling us how does it feel and how are the kids adjusting, maybe their ages, and how are you all of you doing as a family in the kibbutz now?
Yeah, actually we returned in the beginning of this month, in July, and it feels good because we did it a few times before for weekends to get used to the feeling to be at home without Tal, and it's still a war zone here in Nir Yitzchak, and it's very noisy, and we can hear all the rackets and everything, but the kids like it. They feel at home, and they feel comfortable. They can walk out of in the kibbutz free without telling me where they are. Just the baby feel a little bit different because everything has changed for him, because he was with me all the time, and now he's in the daycare. So it's good.
Lotan is now 15 months, right?
Yeah.
After 15 months, he entered the daily daycare.
Yeah, now we start daily daycare. But honestly, I planned to return to the kibbutz just after Tal's body will return and buried in Nir Yitzchak land, because I felt and I think that we cannot go back to our life, to return to our life, our routine life, before all the hostages will come back, and especially Tal. But the kids, they really wanted to come back as soon as possible.
And you went back to the same house that you lived before? That's where you are now sitting right now?
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So you through those, first I want to say Tal got out of this house on October 7th in the early hours. but and you remained in this house holding the door to the safe room for 48 hours, or is it 36 hours you
No,
were in
no, I
there?
think it was something like 16 hours, 17 hours. Yeah, but
Until
before
Monday after,
Tal,
until Sunday afternoon.
in the evening we left our home to be all the kibbutz together, all the kibbutz member together in a kindergarten. We have 5 kindergarten in the kibbutz because the army said that just this is just the way it can protect us better, because when we 600 people, everybody at home, so it's very hard to protect us. So they said we need you to be together. So we went to a safe kindergarten
And during
for
this,
another 24 hours.
and during those long months, and actually it's years now, it's almost, we are approaching almost the 2 years mark. You went through so many places. You had to move to a hotel with the 3 kids and pregnant. Then you moved to another kibbutz or moshav, and then you moved to Revivim, where Tal used to work, and now this is your, you're back home. Can you tell us
Yeah,
about those years?
we had 3 different hotels. The kids, they had something like 4 different schools, and now we just came back. Yeah, it's a lot of changes, and everything. Every time for the beginning, they need to adjust themselves, and it's very hard for kids. Some of them did it very good. Some of them did not see a classroom since October 7. It's hard, and I hope now they will get new opportunities to make some kind of change. But I know that until Tal will not come back, it will be hard for them also, because they are waiting. They know he left home and this morning, but they don't know where he is now. I don't know where he is. What happened to him? Many questions, and it's too much for kids.
So many families, and along with the Israeli public, or I think around 75% of the Israeli public, are calling for the end of the war with a complete ceasefire in exchange for a deal that would bring home all 50 hostages, including Tal. And I'm saying 50, it is both live and deceased. What are your thoughts? I mean, last couple of days, we've seen a bit of a change for our government, but we're not sure, and no one says this on the record, but they're saying no more phased deals. This is the time to stop those, incremental stages and bring everybody together at one stage.
Yeah, I think this is all what the families all the time asks for, to bring all of them together in one agreement and not in parts. And now it's clear for all of us, this is the only acceptable solution. And but I can't ignore about what we saw yesterday, and we just saw movies for 2, and as we know, there are 20, and it's terrible. I can imagine what the families are going through now, but before we're talking about the agreement, they need to leave, because maybe they have days, and they need to leave right now. They need first aid, they need something to eat, they need medicine, and this is the most important thing right now. And also the bodies, because we don't have time, because that body can disappear somehow, and this is, I don't want to think about it, this opportunity that he will never come back.
We have no indication about Tal's whereabouts. Is that correct to say that?
We need to ask the army.
Okay. You mentioned the 2 videos that were published during the weekend. I'm not sure if all of our listeners and viewers know what we're talking about, so I will just explain. There were the Hamas and the Jihad, both 2 terror organizations, published 3 videos actually of Romber Slavsky, 21 years old, and of Eviatar David, 24 years old. Both were taken alive from the Nova Festival, and both being starved to death. And we've seen horrific images and horrific video of them thin in photos that remind us really the Shoah. There is no other word for that. They look horrible. And do you want to say anything more about that?
No.
Let me just say this. Today around the Jewish world, we mark Tisha B'Av, which is the ninth day of Av. We mourn the destruction of the ancient temples and the city of Jerusalem, and major other catastrophes which have been falling on the Jewish people. And now October 7th is just one of those catastrophes. And, it's all of those emotions. I mean, it's very, very hot here today. I mean, weather-wise, of course. And we have seen the difficult images of the hostages. And, it must be such a turbulence for you. I mean, with all of those things around you, how do you feel today?
Yes, it's too much. It's too much to handle because it's like a roller coaster that every day something is happening, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. And I think it's like my life in the last almost 2 years. I had something, the worst thing I can imagine, but also the best I can imagine, because I have a baby, and this is our life. Sad and happy in the same time, and many questions and many uncertainty. And I don't know anything, and I don't know what to believe and who I need to believe. So everything is one big mess.
As long as we are in this part of really difficult questions, I'm going to go ahead with that. I'm sorry. You waited for Tal for 68 days. You thought that he was kidnapped alive. You had no idea what's going on. And then came the knock on your door, which is actually not a door. I mean, it's in a hotel room while you were staying at the time. And can you take us back there? Is it okay to ask
Yes,
that?
no, it's okay. Yes, like you said, we were in a hotel in Eilat. Eilat is a city of vacation, of summer, of beautiful water and sea and beaches. And suddenly, in one evening after 2 months, we just came back from Tel Aviv, because I was to check that pregnancy is okay. And we have an officer that is with us from the first day. And he told me, Ella, today we met every evening for updates and news. And he said, tonight we're going to meet, this evening we are going to meet in the hotel's office. And after this message, I understood everything. I went to this office, and I saw 3 officers and Tal's sister and Tal's father. And they said it very in a formal way, but everything was clear. But I really thought that Tal is alive. Not because I'm an optimistic person or something like that, because I really felt that he is alive. Everything shows me that he is alive, and it was a huge surprise. I know this was an option, that everything is on the table, but I really believed that he is alive. And I asked them how comes he is alive, and they said, no, we found his helmet, and his helmet shows that he is dead. And in that moment, it was very hard, because after I told to the kids, and this was very hard moment. After, I think the first hard moment was this one, but the second was to tell them that he was kidnapped. This was the first time we understood that Tal is not with us. But yes, I told them that he is dead, that we waited a lot of time, that we really believed, but that he is dead. And then I need to explain them that he's dead, but he's not back. So I thought, let's do a funeral. I thought it was Tal's family, of course. Let's do a funeral to make a closure. Let's bury him, bury the helmet. This is the only thing we can bury. And it's very hard decision, just going to stay with us for the rest of our life. So Tal has a grave. Not in our kibbutz, because in December 23 we cannot come here to the kibbutz to make a funeral with many people because it was massive war. And I thought it will give the kids the closure they need, but it didn't, because, kids 6, 7 years old asks himself, and also he asked me, how the army said that his father is dead if there is no body. And he said, I don't believe them, and I don't believe you, and I think they are wrong, and I want to know how they said that he is dead. Many hard questions, and I don't have answer all the time, just in part of the questions. And this is why it's so important to bring Tal's body and all the other dead hostages back. And when I tell to people about this question for my kids, so also adults people said, I don't think he's dead. It's maybe 1 or 2 or 10% that maybe he's alive, because the body is not here. And we cannot believe anyone until the body will return.
Yeah. We have spoken, and you can look up previous families that we've spoken to, the parents of Omer Noatra and the brother of Adar Goldin. And people that are listening to us right now and watching this episode, you may see this returning aspect, whether it's people of the Jewish religion, or it is secular Israelis. They all need to see a closure, an end with returning of the body. It's also, obviously, you all know that if you're watching us, it's a very important part of Jewish halacha. But it's more than that. It's more than the moral Jewish compass. It's even, as Ella just explained, it's a very important process for the kids to understand what went on October 7th. So I'm just stressing it. You can go and listen to previous episodes, but also takes Ella's words for that.
And also, I think this is the huge difference between the Jewish people and our enemies.
And our enemies, of course. Ella, maybe you can tell us about Tal. I share a first name with him. I love this name, of course. But as I said earlier, the Chaimi, my life, your family name is so symbolic. Maybe you can tell us about his youth in the kibbutz. You met at the kibbutz as both, you were both young adults, and your family. And I want to hear about Tal's fatherhood.
Yes. So as you can see in this photo, Tal is the 3rd generation in the kibbutz. Next to him is Udi, our 3rd kid. Here is something like 2 years old. Now he's 8. And next, in the other side, it's Zohar, his father. And next to Zohar, it's Aaron, Tal's grandfather. And Aaron was from those who came and built the kibbutz. And Tal is the 3rd. I'm, for example, just the 2nd. And Tal roots are very deep in the kibbutz. Is very, very connected. Chaimi's family is very big family in Nir Yitzchak. And this is for me, it's very important and meaningful to see this photo, because this is one of the decisions why Tal went out that day, why it was so important for him to protect us and protect the community and the kibbutz, because he was so connected to the kibbutz, and it was so natural that he will go out to protect. And Tal is a very simple person. We were very simple family and just a regular family. Tal was a mechanical engineering. He worked in a factory as a mechanical engineering for 10 years. It's a lot of time. And after work, he was come back sometimes to take the kids from kindergarten, sometimes later, dinner, homework, reading books before sleeping. So simple, so regular. And we so missed our previous life, because we had such a good life. And everything has changed. Our family, the kibbutz, and this area of Otef Aza, everything has changed. Nothing will be the same as it was. And this is Tal, very mechanical person. He had a Leatherman all the time in his pocket. He had
The little
solutions.
knife, the little Swiss knife,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, Swiss knife. He had a solution for everything. And was my life. Now I feel so alone because every time I have some kind of problem, I don't have someone to tell him, Tal, I need help. And of course, to raise 4 kids and one of them is a baby, it's very hard, and I need a lot of help. But when we are at home, just me and the kids, it's so. I feel such a loneliness.
And well, you mentioned that you need a lot of help. Do you know one of the things that we appreciate in kibbutz, looking from the outside. I'm not a kibbutznik, but we always hear and learn about kibbutzim in Israel, where you get support from your community. How does it work for you
Yeah,
right now?
exactly. I'll just give you one example. After Lotan was born, we came back to the hotel. Lotan first year and a few months was in hotels. He knows hotels more than he knows a regular home. But then my friends from the kibbutz, they told me, Allah, you need to sleep well. We'll take Lotan during the night and we'll bring him when he needs to breastfeed him. And was very, very good for me because I need a lot of power and strength to be with the other kids. And they took him, and because it was in a hotel and everybody was very close to one each other, so they took him to the night and just brought him to feed him. And every night another friend of me did it.
So you had all of this group of friends and also relatives around you for those. But now is 15 months. Is he walking already or almost walking?
Yes, first steps, and it's very exciting. And I feeling sometimes that Tal is missing in these simple things, but also happy because sometimes when it's hard and sad, of course Tal is missing. But when something happy is happening, so I want to share. I want to share and tell him, Tal, he smiled. Tal, he's talking. Tal, he's sitting, and I'm sharing it with the family. But it's not like to tell to his father. And Lotan first word, like I think like most of the babies, but here it's get a different meaning. It's Abba. Abba in
Abba?
Hebrew, it's father. And he all the time said Abba, Abba, Abba. And I think my mother told him that when he see a photo of Tal, he needs to say Abba. So when we point with my finger on a photo of Tal, he said Abba. But when I point for other photo of someone else, he also said Abba.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, I
He
mean,
knows when he's seeing a photo, you need to say Abba, and it doesn't matter who is on the photo.
it's amazing that it is still the first word coming out of his mouth with the situation. And he's surrounded by elder. How old are the other kids? The twins, right? The
The
twins are
twins
now.
are 11 years old, and Nir and Deinav, and Udi is 8 years old.
So 11 and 8, and how are they coping with the situation with, missing Abba?
Like I said, it depends the day. It's very emotional. I see that something is happening in their mind, in their heart. Something is happening. But now, for example, the twins, they are they want to take part in the efforts and everything I'm doing. They want to be part of it. So they came to talk in the Hostage Square in Tel Aviv, and they had interview on TV. And they are 11 years old, and this is like my son said near. He said, "I'm just a kid." And it's touched me because they are really just a kid, and I want them a regular childhood like any other kid all over the world.
Ella, through the process, unfortunately, there are many families in your situation where spouses, husbands, fathers were killed, and their body was kidnapped, and some of the hostages obviously were murdered inside captivity. And you have your hands full. I'm sure you cannot go to the hostage square all the time. It's very difficult. However, do you have this kind of bonding with other families for the situation?
I have bonding with other families, but not as much as I want. Because until last month, Lotan was with me 24/7, and now he started to go to a daycare. He doesn't like it, but it will be okay. And just now, after almost 2 years, I'm want to take. I'm able to take part in what the other families are doing. It's very important for me, and it's later, but it's late. But I can do it now.
And for the hopes that we can, see Tal being brought home to Nir Yitzchak and to be buried in the kibbutz graveyard, like it should be.
Yeah, it's very important for me.
Many people around the world are asking. They're asking me, but they're asking also the family forum. What can they do? I mean, I know you were in Nir Yitzchak. You are not one of those families who traveled to the White House because you couldn't. You have your hands full. But sitting there in Nir Yitzchak on the border, and people that are listening to us right now are from DC and California and Seattle, maybe Australia or London. And can you tell them what can they do? There's one asking right now as we speak, how can we help? Many people want to help. Do they need to know what to do? What do you think?
Okay, first of all, thank you. Okay, I've been twice in London, and it was important to do it. And one time in Romania, because Tal has Romanian citizenship, and also the kids because his family. What can you do? First of all, in your thoughts, to think about it, not to forget for every all the time. Like I'm thinking about Tal all the time. It's all the time in my mind, and this is what I am asking from you. Act like it's your husband. I'll act like it's your son. Act like it's your father. Believe about and believe and think about it all the time. This is the first step. After that, go out. I know that there are places that they may making some kind of a not protest, but
Rallies.
yeah,
It's called. I'll stop you for a minute. It's called Run for Their Lives. It's a rally, and you can join any rally in your area where you live. There is all of them, bunch of them, spread all over in many cities, more than tens of cities around the United States, as far as I know. So you can Google "Run for Their Lives" and go to the website of those rallies and find an event near you for the hostages.
yeah. And also, I think on the social media, because everything is happening there right now, and to share information. And there are people that every day put photos of one of the hostage, and just to talk about it and to bring it for the first issue all the time, because it's not just my business, it's not just my issue, it's all of us, all the community, the Jewish people around the world. It's all of us together, because today it's me and tomorrow it's someone else. And it's not just important for me that Tal will return, it's important for all of us. And also I want to say that I understood in the last almost 2 years how important it is that we have a community all around the world. Really, for the first time, I think I felt warm, a lot of that I'm not alone. It's very important that we have people in the United States, in London, and Romania, of course, Argentina, all over the world, Europe, and it's so important that we are not just in Israel, and there are communities over there.
I wanted to add that Tal was member of the emergency squad, which means that he is announced as an IDF fallen soldier because he was part of the group of what we call here first responder.
First response team.
People that,
Yeah, he was the commander of this team, and for years it's something. But they never thought that they will have to protect the kibbutz for so many hours. I think they knew just about 20 for 30 minutes, not more than that, and the army, as you know, didn't arrive. Nir Yitzhak lost 6 members from the first response team, of Tal and Oren Goldin and Ofek Arazi, Yaron Shachar, Boaz Avraham, and also Lior Odayev, that also his body kidnapped like Tal. And also we have a soldier, Ofir Melman, that died in the army, and Ela Haimi, she murdered in the Nova Festival.
So all of the people that went out early on from their houses to protect the kibbutz were basically killed, and they were
Not
part
all
of
of them. No, not all of them.
6 of them.
I think 50% from them.
And they were the emergency squad, and Tal was the deputy commander of the emergency squad. So, I mean, but other than that, they managed to protect the kibbutz because I'm saying it with sorrow. 6 fallen people is less than we have heard from kibbutzim next door, where had and basically what Tal did saved the lives of many of you in the kibbutz. So I mean, he's such a hero and such a brave person. And I think it's really important to remember that when we talk about him, and you must all remember that, the heroic act that he took on that very early morning. Is there anything else that you want to tell us about Tal so we can take with us his memory?
I just want to say that Tal protect the kibbutz with the other members, but also the army protect us in some way, because in Nir Yitzhak was, I think, something like 100 terrorists, but there were many others on the way to Nir Yitzhak, and they never arrived. And most of the terrorists didn't get into the kibbutz because of this first response team, but also the army did something.
So
what I want to tell you about Tal, I wanted to say, like I said before, just a regular family, special person, but so simple, like me, like you, a regular family. That's it.
In kibbutz Nir Yitzhak. And the kibbutz, we talked earlier, and you said about 80% of the people from the kibbutz went back to live?
Something like this, yeah. And now we had, if you heard, a very noisy bomb. This is our life right now.
Yes. So first of all, let me send from here hugs and, trying to strengthen you living in the kibbutz with the 4 kids, the lovely kids, and being able to bring them back to their father's home and go back there. It's also by itself, I suppose, a brave decision on your behalf. And I am before we finish, I just want to say a couple of more things. So please, we're gonna put the barcode up again, and this is a barcode through which you can help the Hostage and Missing Family Forum to support their work around the world. They are sending families of the kidnapped people to DC or to other places to raise awareness. It's very important. We have 20 or maybe 21 people that are being held alive in the tunnels, deprived from food. And then we have the rest of them, up to 50, were murdered or killed or falling in battle. But it's very, very important, as you all heard, that they will be returned to their land, to their home, to have a proper Jewish burial. It's also, I just want to make sure that you know that there's also one Muslim burial, because the one soldier is Muslim, was a Bedouin from the Negev. And so it's not just about kidnapping Jewish people. Many Muslims and Bedouins and other were murdered that day. You can join a rally in your area. Visit the website Run for Their Lives to find events near you. Please share this podcast with the really important things that Ella tells us about Tal and about the kids and about the kibbutz life. You can share it with your friends through groups, or you can send it in email, or just retweet it in Twitter. And as Ella said, keep the hostages in your thoughts and conversations. You can talk about Tal all around the world, and you can show his photo. And I think every bit of awareness matters. And with maybe group action and awareness around the world, we can put all of the right pressure to bring them back and bring an end to this war, so you can go back to a safe life, I hope, on the border. Something else you want to say?
No, just thank you.
Thank you all for listening. And we will be here next week again on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And see you then. I'm sorry, 7 p.m. Israel time. It's going to be 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time. Thank you all for listening. And I will see you next week.
Thank you.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Not some, not half, all of them. Now, bring them all, achieve peace.